This is a video of a freighter coming up the St. Clair River from the south. It's going to pass underneath what we call the Blue Water Bridge. And we're in the St. Clair River near the entrance to Lake Huron. This type of freighter is a new type. What they've been doing lately is taking old freighters and converting some of them. I'm pretty sure, judging by the high pilot house tower in the back, that this is one of the new pusher tugs. And they sort of look like the old ones, except they've taken the pilot house off the forward bow of the ship, replaced it with a small stand on the bow. And then let's pan all the way back out, I should say, so we can get a better view of the size of it. And then the stern, they removed the big engines and crew quarters and things, and they put a notch welded in the stern. And these tugs are fitted into the stern, and they're held in there by big cables that are tension tight with gigantic hydraulic cylinders. And if you look on the deck as this ship goes by, there's a big cargo unloading boom, which the boom swings sideways to shore, and it has a conveyor belt on it that unloads various cargoes of coal, iron ore, wheat, stone. Some boats are cement. This one looks like a cement boat. Looks like one of the Huron cement boats. Usually they're painted gray, and this one kind of looks gray, but I can't tell in the colors. Now as she goes by, you'll see the tug that's pushed up into the back of where the engines used to be in the freighter. This freighter without the tug would have been about 600-700 feet long, and the tug's probably another 100 foot. And now you can see the massive big tugboat at the back end. And way up at the top of that, just under that red light, is the pilot station with the wheels. And she's heading into the cold dark of Lake Huron. This tug looks like it has twin diesels. They're usually diesel electric. They run big electric generators, and then the actual drive motors are electric, DC electric motors. Very similar setup to a diesel electric locomotive train. I don't know if this video is going to show it, but she's pushing hard, a lot of water. Current right here runs 5 to 6 knots depending on the water level and the wind, which direction it's at, out of the north or the south. Right now the wind's out of the south and the river is very calm, so the current might only be about 5 to 5.5 miles an hour. But when you're in a boat, a small boat that is, 5 knot current seems like an awful lot of current, and you definitely don't want to lose engine power underneath the bridge in this area. This river drops from right where that freighter's at the mouth of Lake Huron, and it's 60, well, maybe it's less than 60 miles, maybe it's more like 40 miles, down to where it empties into Lake St. Clair. It drops about 5.5 feet in elevation, and that's what generates the current coming through here. At the point where that freighter is right now, he's actually going over a spot where there's 2 sunken sailing ships. One of them still has the masts in it sticking straight upright. It's a schooner. I believe it's called the Martin. It was sunk pretty close to 100 years ago. and the freighter is now getting ready to go into the channel out into the lake, which is marked by the red and green flashing lights. got buoys out there. There's spots in this river that range from 65 feet to out in the lake. There's a hole at the entrance. It's close to 90 feet. But the controlling depth of the water has to be at least 26 feet throughout the seaway system for the freighters to get over. And sometimes when the water levels are low and the freighters are loaded heavy, they're only clearing the bottom by a couple feet. Quite often they'll draw 20, 23, 24 feet of draft down in the water.
And the end of the bridge.
I'm going to show you one more shot of the bridge, and we're looking at Canada right now. We're looking at the Canadian side. This is a twin bridge, or two bridges. One is westbound, and the one on the right is eastbound going into Canada. And there's green light marking the center of the channel. That's the center of the international boundary between the US and Canada. And we're looking at the American side now. The pier's holding the bridge up. And this is Thomas Edison Parkway. It's one of the largest walkways along the waterfront in the freshwater in the world. In fact, I think it is the longest waterway in the world on freshwater. It's not the longest boardwalk because it's concrete. The longest boardwalk in freshwater in the world is in St. Clair, Michigan. And that's a view of the Canadian shore and the Canadian casino. And my understanding, the river is about 1,200 feet wide at this point right here, about a quarter mile. It might seem farther in the video, but it's actually only a quarter mile. And there's another view of the ship. I don't know if you can see it, but it's way out in the lake. Well, that's all for this video. Bye for now.